Welcome to 1999, the podcast. I am John Brooks.
I'm Steve.
What's your name?
I started to say Steven for some reason.
Steven.
I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. And I'm Julia Sermons.
You're haunted. Welcome to 1999, the podcast. I am John Brooks.
And I'm Julia Sermons.
Today we are beginning our recurring series of revisit episodes. I'm thinking about how we should title these. I think I'm going to call them Julia's version, like in parentheses, like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Or Julia's version revisit episodes, or Steven's version, where we take a second look. Where we take a second look at some of the heavy hitters of 1999 that we covered when I started this podcast 3.5 years ago. And we're going to start with some of the ones that Julia had not previously seen. So since this is our last episode before Halloween, it seemed fitting that we begin with the second highest grossing movie of the year, right behind The Phantom Menace, grossing nearly $300 million domestically and nearly $6.75 million worldwide on a paltry $40 million budget, a movie that barely needs any introduction. So I'll skip the normal build-up for now and just let you know that today we are talking about The Sixth Sense.
You know the accident up there?
Yeah.
Someone got hurt.
They did?
A lady. She broke her neck.
Oh my God, but you can see her?
Yes.
Where is she?
Standing next to my window.
Baby, what are you shaking? Cole, what's wrong?
Did you ever talk to your mom about how things are?
I don't tell her things.
Why not?
Because she doesn't look at me like everybody else, and I don't want her to. I don't want her to know.
Know what?
I see dead people walking around like regular people.
I don't see anything. Are you sure they're there?
Sometimes you feel it inside, like you're falling down real fast. You ever feel the prickly things on the back of your neck?
Yes.
That's them. They get mad. It gets cold.
How often do you see them?
All the time. They're everywhere. They want me to do things for them.
I think that they know that you're one of these very rare people who can see them. So you need to help them.
What if they don't want to help?
I don't think that's the way it works.
How do you know for sure?
Is anyone there?
Look out! Please make them leave.
I'm working on it.
Quick note. If somehow you have either not seen or somehow don't know the ending to The Sixth Sense 25 years later, stop listening and go watch it because we're not holding back on that particular spoiler. So anyway, Julia, to refresh the memory of the audience who perhaps have not seen The Sixth Sense in a while, what's The Sixth Sense about?
In The Sixth Sense, child psychologist Dr. Malcolm Crowe, played by Bruce Willis, is haunted by his failure to help a former patient, a disturbed young man who broke into Malcolm's house and shot him before killing himself.
It's Donnie Wahlberg.
Months later, okay, there we go. So Donnie Wahlberg broke in and tried to kill him and shot him in the chest.
Uh-huh.
Then, flash forward to 9 months later, Malcolm tries to redeem himself by working with Cole, played by Haley Joel Osment, a troubled 8-year-old who reminds him of that former patient. Cole is withdrawn and anxious, and his mother, Lynn, played by Toni Collette, is desperate to help him but doesn't understand what's wrong. Malcolm patiently works to gain Cole's trust, even as his own marriage to his wife Anna seems to be falling apart. Finally, Cole reveals his terrifying secret to Malcolm. I see dead people. Cole is constantly visited by ghosts who don't know that they're dead, and they often appear to him in traumatic states in which they died. Malcolm initially thinks Cole is delusional, but he gradually comes to believe him. He encourages Cole not to fear these ghosts, but to learn from them. Perhaps they need his help. Cole takes this advice and helps a ghost of a young girl who was poisoned by her mother. This gives Cole a sense of purpose, and he becomes more confident. He even reveals his gift to his mother in a moving scene where he passes along a message from her own deceased mother. Malcolm seems to have finally succeeded where he once failed, but then in one of cinema's most favorite twist endings, Malcolm realizes that he himself is dead. He's been a ghost ever since the night he was shot. Anna wasn't ignoring him. She simply couldn't see or hear him. Malcolm finally finds peace and says goodbye to his sleeping wife and moves on.
I've seen this movie, I don't know, probably 10 times. We'll talk about this. And rewatched it last week. And yeah, it's still pretty good. Joining us for our second look at The Sixth Sense is comedian, actor, and the world's foremost Sonic and Knuckles expert, the co-host of the Mystery on the Rocks podcast, and most impressive for my kids, canonically part of the Hooniverse, as Doom in the Doctor Who Big Finish audio series Doomsday, opposite the Eighth Doctor himself, Paul McGann. Very jealous of that. It is Sooz Kempner. Hello, Sooz. How are you?
Hi. Thank you so much for intro. I should say it's Kempner, but
sorry, Kempner.
It's fine. It's one of the strangest yet most boring surnames ever, and everyone looks at it like, well, this can't be right, so you're not alone.
I knew it was. I just like the end didn't come out for whatever stupid reason.
There's Ellie Kemper from Kimmy Schmidt, and there's Ed Kemper, the serial killer.
Yeah,
and but they're no relation.
No relation to them.
Thanks for having me. 1999 is a big year.
It is a big year. What were you doing in 1999?
99. I was 14, and the summer of 99 all the way into the summer of 2000 was like my year of going to the cinema all the time, every weekend, some evenings, because you could buy for the equivalent of about, I'd say, I don't know, $40, a unlimited pass every 6 weeks. So me and my friends would do that, and we'd go to the cinema constantly. So I saw The Sixth Sense at the cinema when I was 14, and I had just had the day before my meningitis jab, and I started reacting to it during the film. So I was like sweating and shaking and kind of delirious. And then when we got out of the screen at the end, my friends went, "Oh, wow. Oh, did you know what the ending was?" And a couple of them were like, "I knew, but I wasn't going to say anything." And then some of my friends were, "I didn't know." And I was stood there going, "What?" And they said, "Well, you know, the crazy twist at the end." I was like, "Huh?" So basically, I didn't understand the twist ending. And at the end, you know, he turns round in the mirror and he sees the big blood stain. Well, 14-year-old me in the cinema went, "Oh no, he's been shot again."
Oh my.
So that's my intro to The Sixth Sense.
Oh my goodness.
I just thought his wife was rude.
I've never heard anybody have that reaction where they saw the ending and then didn't understand.
Did not get that twist.
What the ending was. Julia, you saw it for the first time.
Yes.
And I know you like knew the ending, right? I assume?
Yeah, well, what happened to me was it had been out about 6 weeks or so. But I hadn't watched it for whatever reason, and I was listening to some talk radio in the morning, which is what I used to do.
Yeah.
And they spoiled it, which, like, I think is fair. 6 weeks seems reasonable. But then I lost interest in seeing it because I knew the twist.
Yeah.
But I found that did not impede my watching the movie now and discovering it. I didn't feel like I was just sitting there waiting for the penny to drop.
The ending.
Yeah. Like I think I got absorbed enough in the story to enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't think the movie would have worked if it had just been the twist, right? And I think one of the things that made it kind of a phenomenon was that it was this like fairly like pretty beautiful drama that played with kind of ghost story tropes and like horror elements, but wasn't really definitively any of those things. And then that did have this very clever kind of like magic trick that it builds up to in the end, where you have the reveal, and that is what everybody kind of talked about, right? So like, yeah, one of my friends, I think it was actually not Greg Kinnear, who hosted the Daily Show before Jon Stewart, Craig Kilborn. Craig Kilborn used to do a segment when he was still like, when he was doing his talk show, his late night talk show, where he would spoil the ending of a movie, and he just like blurted out the ending of The Sixth Sense. This was probably like 4 weeks after it came out. One of my best friends had not seen it. He overheard it, and I'm like, oh, come on. He's like, what? So yeah, I think at the time, right, a lot of people didn't bother seeing it if they did know the ending, because they just assumed that's kind of all there was to it. But yeah, it's interesting now that everybody does know to kind of see the film on its own merits. So, Julia, how did you think as a movie, just without plot twistiness, what did you think of it just as a film?
I really felt like it had an atmosphere, like it was a world, that had like coherent rules, and like is this like slightly artificial style. I found that the atmosphere and the design and everything looked very complete and looked like a real world, in a way that I think, not every director can do that successfully. And yeah, I thought it, I thought it was elegantly shot, and I thought that, the two performances at the center of it were just so good that it made it work.
Yeah. Sooz, what about you? What's your in the future, knowing the ending take on Sixth Sense?
Now that I've got all that figured out.
Now that you figured out what the actual ending is, and that he wasn't just stabbed twice, or shot twice.
I hadn't watched it for about probably 15 plus years until I saw it. I saw it again last year, and it's real. It's like, it's so classy. For a film that's sort of known, as we've said, like it's known for this like shock ending, and everyone goes, "Don't tell anyone the twist." It's like a really classy, mature drama, and there's like a family drama, and there's a relationship drama going on at the same time. So the gimmick that and all the memes of this child actor saying "I see dead people" really dramatically doesn't impact you when you actually watch the film on its own. It's I think it's really excellent. Was it nominated for Best Picture?
It was.
Yeah, I thought it must have been. I was like, oh, this is better than I thought it was going to be on a revisit. It's rare that a film that you knew was good when you were a teenager is better than you remember. It's brilliant. All the performances are so good. Bruce Willis is, I don't know if he's ever been better, and Haley Joel Osment obviously was got tons of attention at the time because he's brilliant. But Toni Collette is she's superb in this, and she'd be what, like 25 or something when she's in this film. She'd be super young.
That's a really good question.
Maybe she's a little older.
Yeah, I feel like a little bit. I think she was probably in her 30s. So let's see. So, oh no, you're right. So she was 27. 1972.
It's like,
she is,
because she's really young in Muriel's Wedding, which should be a few years before.
Yeah, she must have been.
I know that
that's
she
like
was
94,
like
right? That's She must have been like 22.
Yeah, so she was a baby. She's always brilliant. Like she always elevates whatever she's in. I recently watched Wayward on Netflix, and it's good, but she just lifts everything to make it A plus.
Yeah, I loved her in Unbelievable with her and Merritt Weaver, which is
yes. Oh my god, yeah. She's always electric.
She is. I know. I think she's one of the best actors on the planet. I mean, she is. I mean, you like Cate Blanchett gets all the accolades, but I think Toni Collette is her equal, if not, I mean, slightly superior as far as I'm concerned. And she is wonderful in this. It's interesting. So I just rewatched it with a bunch of students who are, teenagers. And so they have no real sort of, it's not a cultural meme to them anymore.
They weren't around know what the for the summer of Blair Witch and
that we all survived.
Well, except for those poor 3 kids.
Buried under that house.
It's very sad. They one thing that I found really interesting in rewatching it with them is that a lot of them figured out the ending because, and they said this out loud, that they've seen a lot of movies like this since then. And that The Sixth Sense kind of made the elevated horror sort of like twist ending thing something of a trope, and so they kind of know what to look out for, and like a bunch of them didn't figure it out, but a bunch of them did, and they like, the reason that I knew was because of this and this, and because I've kind of seen this sort of thing before, which I think is really I mean, it's kind of a testament to the film's legacy itself and kind of its enduring, but also that like having no sort of understanding of what this movie is or where it fits into kind of the cultural zeitgeist, they're still, they kind of intuitively get that this is kind of a game changer for that kind of movie, as it were, which I think is kind of fascinating. Because when I watch it now, every time I've watched it since, I'm like, how did I not figure this out? Like, because Shyamalan is being so kind of blatantly obvious about it, right? The scene where he says, "I see dead people," and Bruce Willis is like, "Are the dead people in the room with us now?" Right? And he's like, "Yes." It's like a bullhorn, but it's so meticulously directed and cleverly put together that he deliberately kind of, it's a sleight of hand sort of thing. He's both showing you the trick while also kind of diverting your attention from it by kind of being too obvious, right? And I think in addition to the dramatic elements of it, it's still amazing to me to watch it, to just see him pull this off, and the very clever ways that, like, whenever Bruce Willis sits in a chair, the chair doesn't move, right? Like, he interacts with his environment, but never in a way that would draw attention to anybody around him, like in the restaurant. Or
and his outfit never changes.
His outfit never changes, right? He puts on a sweatshirt sometimes or a coat sometimes, but basically the outfit never changes, right. And that's very clever. So I want to ask you, you also, like, one of the things that happened after this movie is that M. Night Shyamalan burst onto the scene as kind of the new It director. There was a lot of talk about him being the next Alfred Hitchcock. The sort of the way that this is very auteurish and very precise in the way it's created. And then he had a very kind of interesting career after. And I talked to you about some of the movies that are kind of hit and miss with him. And I know you haven't seen maybe any of them, but did you watch any of the other Shyamalan movies that I put on that list?
I watched Unbreakable.
Okay. And Sooz, you said that Willis has never been better than in The Sixth Sense. And I actually think he's better in Unbreakable than in The Sixth Sense. And I think they're both amazing performances.
Okay.
I love Unbreakable.
I saw Unbreakable at the cinema and I remember so little about it. So it's probably worth a revisit. I remember virtually nothing about it, which is crazy because I remember everything about The Village.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
The Village, which I love, by the way. I'm one of that elite group of probably 4 people who thinks The Village is fucking brilliant.
Think most people now have come around on The Village. I do. Like, it's the one that I think people most kind of often cite as their favorite or what they think is his
Right.
best film, even though it was very divisive at the time.
I remember everyone just going, I've seen it, it's shit. And there's a comedian called Joe Wells, and me and him bonded over like, oh my God, you like The Village. I love The Village too. And we talk about how much we like The Village whenever we see each other.
we are Village people.
Yeah.
Julia, what did you think of Unbreakable?
I enjoyed it a lot. I agree. I think I would pick Willis's performance in Sixth Sense over Unbreakable, but I think in both of the films he gets a more tender side or more pensive side than he got in any of the action movies. Then he really can pull it off, and I don't know. I just think it's maybe more. It's more of a full, complete character to me in The Sixth Sense than he is in Unbreakable. Unbreakable, I wasn't terribly excited by the ending. Like you knew almost right away that like Samuel L. Jackson had to be the baddie, but it's just not clear why. And is he actually a villain? Things like that are going through your mind, and I think the pacing of it is not as tightly controlled as Sixth Sense. So you're waiting for something to happen, and it takes a long time. And I think the problem with movies with twist endings is that if you know it's there, all you're doing is looking for the twist.
Right.
If you know there's a secret, you are just all your brain is doing is trying to find it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a problem because it interferes with you watching the movies as art, as on their own merits. And so I think you have a less interesting discussion or reaction to the film if you're just looking for the twist all the time and can't find the other aspects of the movie. And so I think in Unbreakable, even though it's doing all these kind of really interesting things with Bruce Willis's character, like the twist is not as meticulous as it is in Sixth Sense.
I think I guess, well, as a comic book fan, right, the sort of underlying thesis of Unbreakable I thought was incredibly clever. And also I was more pissed off at myself for not seeing that ending than I was the Sixth Sense ending. So I'm like, of course he's the bad guy. He's the antithesis of the hero. That's how it works. Like, I've read enough X-Men comics that I should know that he is the Magneto to the Professor X, and completely missed it. And so was very piecing it all together when it was over. I was like, God, I'm an idiot, but that's a really brilliant maneuver. And then I think also that movie having Samuel L. Jackson, that really great performance, right? Whereas The Sixth Sense really is a two-man show with some good, Olivia Williams and Toni Collette enhancements. They're not really sort of central to this very focused dynamic. Where I think the Unbreakable has a sort of more, its cast sort of has more to do other than just the two kind of the two leads. I think they're both great. Yeah, and then it's Shyamalan. Then I think I don't really know quite what happened, but the movies that kind of come after it, The Village and and Signs, right, are both movies with a lot of hardcore fans and devotees that were very sort of divisive when they came out. And then he made stuff like After Earth and The Happening, right? Notoriously awful movies, and the Last Airbender.
I don't like Signs, and I feel like Signs it has that incredible sequence where they show the kids seeing the alien at the birthday party, and I just think that is just so brilliant, and it's just such an incredible moment in a film that really doesn't do it for me.
No, it doesn't do it for me either.
Particularly, and that bit, he captured perfectly what the creepiest video you've ever seen on the internet that's unexplained is like. Even though I knew it was filmed for the film, I was like, oh, that's fucked me up actually. But I feel like I don't particularly like Signs. It doesn't do anything for me, but I think The Village is great.
Yeah.
And then, what's he done recently that's good?
So, yeah, he kind of...
he's doing his own self-funded stuff now.
Yeah, so he kind of came back. So there was sort of the mid-period where Lady in the Water, which was terrible. And
dreadful.
Yeah, really, really bad movies.
Wasn't he?
I think he just kind of got a little ahead of himself and started kind of sort of diving into his worst instincts. And and I think really thinking of himself as kind of like a guy who is very bankable and can make whatever movie he wants. And then I think he got kind of smacked back down to earth. And then there was movies like like Trap, which is great, right? His last couple movies, Old, the one about the beach, which I think is quite good.
Oh my God. And I was going to do, when that film came out, wasn't it just before lockdown?
Yeah, it was right around that time. Yeah.
Because I was booked on a gig where you have to do something mad and conceptual.
Okay.
And I was going to send my mum on stage to just stand there.
Okay.
And then I was going to stand at the back with a mic and narrate and say, "Oh no, it's me, Sooz. But I went to the beach from Old." And then but I never got to do the bit. And my mum agreed to do it under sufferance. I never got to do the bit. And now it's too late. No one would know what that was.
Nope.
So I'm glad I get to share that on this podcast. Oh, what the stand-up comedy scene in London missed out on 5 years ago. Yeah, Old. He's got a bit of a sense of humor about what he's doing now. There's like a little wink in a nice way with his more recent work, isn't there?
Trap like knock at the Cabin. Like, there's a lot of like meta about it. And he seems to have kind of found his groove again. And like in watching this movie, I going back to kind of this being his kind of, because he made a movie before this called Wide Awake, which is
any good?
Not really. It's fine. It's a sort of coming of age drama. It's like it doesn't have any twists. It's not a Shyamalan movie as we would think of it, and it's fine. Sure. He also wrote Stuart Little, which is also 1999.
Didn't he write She's All That? Have I got that right?
Okay, so
is this a dreadful?
There is some lore to this. Okay. We are friends of the show of the actual writer of She's All That.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
And we've talked to him about it a number of times, and the answer is basically no.
Okay.
But he did do a once over, and there's like one or two lines that are his lines. But he is not the secret real writer of She's All That. Our friend Lee is the writer of She's All That. Right. But yeah, he was involved, and he was a script doctor for a while, and all that sort of thing. There is, as much as I love this movie still, and as much as there are great things about it, there is still, and I can't ever quite put my finger on what it is, but there's still something that I find even in the Shyamalan movies that I really like a lot. There's still something kind of missing about it, and I don't know what that thing is. I think it has something to do with the way that sometimes the point drives the narrative too much.
Okay.
I find in the scene where he goes to like save or to reveal that Misha Barton's mom killed her.
Yes.
That it just feels very contrived and kind of out of place. And the whole thing feels like it belongs in a different movie.
If she's so poisoned and a kid, how did she know?
Right.
She's like, right, I'm going to set up a camera. I know what's going on here. And it is all quite neat.
It is. It is. And it's a weird scene. And the way that Bruce Willis has to do the ghost thing in this, it never really quite works. And so there's moments where I just kind of feel that sense of Shyamalan getting kind of ahead of himself as a filmmaker really kind of shines through in this movie sometimes. But it doesn't drown out the great things about it. But there's elements of this movie that when you take away the plot twist that sort of make it famous, it's lacking something that makes it great. And I'm not quite sure what that is. But
okay. I genuinely was like sort of a little bit blown away by how well it stood up when I watched it again last year. But,
it does stand up. It's still very
there's one thing I've got. It's like Haley Joel Osment seemingly knows he's a ghost, knows that Bruce Willis is a ghost.
Yes.
And doesn't tell him. And also every time he sees a ghost, he's like, oh, I shit myself, but not when he sees Bruce Willis. So I've always wondered, like, does he know or doesn't he? And I feel like we should know whether he knows or not by the end of the film.
Yes. Yeah, right. It's those contrivances. And like, that's kind of part of also like what you have to do to make the trick work, right? There's just certain things that you can't do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
To make it work. But yeah, the actual logic of what happens to Haley Joel Osment's character is kind of all over the place. Like, I don't really understand what's going on in the Stanley the Stutterer scene. Like, why is he all of a sudden being an asshole?
Where the teacher, and the teacher is like a ghost controlling him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like a creepy, unsettling scene, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Also, I think that, oh wow, and the teacher just is like, he says, "Shut up, you little freak," or something.
Yeah.
Wow,
and he's all stuttery. It's very it's very tense and all that sort of thing. But I'm like, does this make sense in the context of
it's
the movie?
Almost like M. Night Shyamalan had an idea for a cool scene in literally any movie and put it in there. I know what you mean.
We should talk about Haley Joel Osment a little bit too, who also was nominated for an Oscar.
Yes.
Julia, what are your thoughts on? So, like, one of the things, especially about this year, right? And I think this is like very unfair, and sort of what happened to Jake Lloyd is really tragic. But like, the way that critics were like, "This is what a child performance should be," not like fucking Anakin Skywalker. It's like, do you have to do that?
Yeah, this poor kid.
Like, okay, so let's ignore the fact that like George Lucas can't like write dialogue or direct actors. Like, really, that's kind of what's going on with Jake Lloyd there. This still was heralded as like one of the great child actor performances of all time, and I still think it is like quite wonderful as I watch it now. But like, yeah, it's really hard to kind of critique child actors sometimes. It's very hard to build a movie around them. Julia, where do you think this kind of stands, both as like a child actor performance and also just kind of, your thoughts on child actors?
I usually hate child performances.
Me too. Yeah.
And I kind of almost want people to have less children in plots, so you don't have to.
Don't have to look at
actors.
So you like Children of Men is your favorite movie because
thank God,
right?
Yeah,
thank fucking God. Yeah.
No, I think he's very like he looks like a cartoon, right? Like he almost looks like a cartoon comes to life,
and he still does.
He still does. Yeah.
And I think if you do too much with that face, it'll ruin the movie. It'll be too over the top, and it just wouldn't work in a film.
Yeah.
And so I think what he does that's amazing is that this kid just has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Like he has this horrible experience going on, and he can't tell anybody because of the things people will do to him if he tells anybody. And I think that the way his expressions and his facial expressions are so teeny tiny, and you just see him, slowly starting to explore his dark side or to try and figure out what's going on there. And yeah, it really requires a lot of kind of, heavy experiences, a lot of really tough stuff that this character goes through. And I think not every child actor would be able to do that without being like, oh gosh, oh golly. So I really like this performance. I think it's he's scary when he needs to be, but he's not over the top scary,
and genuinely traumatized when he needs to be too, which is also like a difficult thing to portray.
Yes.
Right? Vulnerability, right, is hard to do like authentically as a kid. Yeah, I think that so there's a couple things about this movie that I don't think are talked about quite enough, which is that frankly, like without Haley Joel Osment and Bruce Willis, like it doesn't work. If you get the wrong child actor, it doesn't work. And if you get an actor who cannot work with children, it doesn't work. And Bruce Willis, one of the things about Bruce Willis, and I think this is one of the things about his life as an actor that we're probably just like never going to talk about, is that he's incredibly good at working with children. And a lot of it, like, like Spencer Breslin and The Kid, and Spencer Treat Clark in Unbreakable. Like, not every actor can do this, and for some maybe it's because Bruce Willis was always like a big kid at heart, I don't know, but for some reason he is uniquely able to connect with children and bring out that performance. If you don't have a good dynamic between these two characters, and if you don't have good performances and chemistry, there's no movie here, and that in and of itself is something of a little minor miracle, I think.
Yeah, it's excellent. He's in that movie Looper as well.
Oh God, yes.
The kid has got to give an extremely weird performance.
Yeah.
And I bet there's an awful lot of what's the word? Help is the wrong word, but I think Bruce Willis is helping whoever this child actor is give a really authentic performance. He's obviously quite a generous actor to be in a scene with.
Yeah, I think, I mean, to me, like, Bruce Willis will always be one of our most underrated actors.
Yeah.
But it's so funny, like, because I think people forget that when he made Die Hard, everybody was like, wait, the guy from Moonlighting? Right? They were like,
sure.
him as an action star, that comedian goofball. And then he spent a decade as an action star.
Yes.
And then this and Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman, right, in like the late 90s, where he starts, and like Pulp Fiction, where he starts to kind of show that he has a lot more sort of range as an actor and this ability to be very naturalistic and empathetic.
Yes.
And
he's
like
so great in Death Becomes Her as well.
Yes.
He plays this like
very funny.
kind of like, yeah, he's really funny and kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
In a really unexpected way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's he was a great comic actor. I mean, I kind of have to use the past tense now, right? Because I mean, obviously, he's never going to.
Yeah, we're not going to see any more Bruce Willis performances. Yeah.
I would recommend, if you haven't heard it, listening to Dana Schwartz's Haleywood, I think it's called, about like when he bought that town in Idaho, I think.
Right. I'm gonna write this down.
It's really it's fascinating. It goes really into a lot of his career and like how he got started and what like. Sort of where that kind of money trouble thing started. It's
I see, and then he was constantly playing catch up.
It's it's a good series, and it's a good sort of peek under the hood into Bruce Willis.
I see,
and his psyche.
Yeah, because I know the Kevin Smith story about what it was like to work with him on Cop Out, and I like Kevin Smith a lot, but if I was working on Cop Out, it might put me in a bad mood as well. No offense. I do really like Kevin Smith, the guy, but Cop Out, fuck me. I think we could forgive Bruce Willis. For him being mean to Kevin Smith on Cop Out.
I would have been mean to Kevin Smith around that era of Kevin Smith as well.
It was when he constantly didn't he have like a joint in every gap of his hand, and he was just like, woo.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of someone who like sort of, leaned into his sort of fandom's image of him. Yeah. I like Kevin Smith more now, but certainly like there was a period of time when he was.
Especially as not long either after or before Cop Out was Red State, which I really liked. I wouldn't say like, oh, what a perfect movie, but I went, wow, look at this. There's some like heart and passion, and it's genuinely unsettling, and you can tell that he's loved making it. The acting performances are really good in this, and then it's like, and now what are you making? Oh man, this sucks.
Well, of course, like Dogma came out in 1999 as well, and that's one of the more divisive of the Kevin Smith canon, and that's a movie that,
I really like Dogma.
I liked it when it came out, and I've watched it recently, and like I don't think it holds up as well. But
did not hold up.
We still have not covered it, so one day we will get around to it.
Interesting, right.
The way this movie came to exist, I think, is also really fascinating. There's a guy who was he worked for Disney. He bought the script for $3 million because he loved it without permission, and then got fired for doing so.
That's a lot of money.
$3 million? Yeah, it is.
I mean, obviously, but I know that when Showgirls was sold in that would be sold in 93, 94, I guess, because Showgirls came out in 95. That was $2 million, and it was the most expensive screenplay ever sold. Mm-hmm. So for just a few years later, 6 cents from an unknown, essentially an unknown filmmaker.
For basically, an
$3 million. Wow.
And they fired him for it because they're like, there's no, like, what are you doing? This is insane. And I guess he kind of had the last laugh there. But Bruce Willis wound up in this movie because of the whole Broadway Brawler fiasco, which I don't know if you know about that.
What's that? No, I don't.
Broadway Brawler was envisioned as a kind of like, it was basically Bruce Willis's like dream job as kind of like a weird musical sports romantic comedy thing, and was a massive disaster. And Bruce Willis kept basically forcing people out of their jobs because they weren't doing things the way that he had envisioned them or whatever. They dumped millions of dollars into it. It never saw the light of day. And as a sort of resolution to that, Disney basically made an agreement with Bruce Willis to say, you have to be in any 3 movies we tell you to be in. And The Sixth Sense was the first of those movies.
I see.
Yep. So they said to him, you have to be in this movie.
Did Broadway Brawler ever come out?
No, it has never come out.
So that just doesn't exist. So literally.
Exist. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
that really did never happen.
It is a piece of Hollywood lore at this point. It does not exist.
That's amazing. And I'm sure that Bruce Willis, I think it's a bit of a snub, but I'm sure he came close to being nominated for this, for Sixth Sense. There must have been tons of buzz.
I think he was snubbed. Of course, like the actual people who were nominated and then also like won in this year. Not great.
Oh God, it's Kevin Spacey, isn't it? 99.
Yeah. So like honorarily, it should go to Bruce Willis and or Russell Crowe in The Insider, but
it's a moral victory for those two.
fucking Kevin Spacey.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. So this really is a movie that nobody. I don't remember. I don't know what it was sort of like buzz-wise in the UK, but here nobody expected anything out of it. It just sort of like showed up in the newspaper's print splash thing as like this movie nobody had ever heard of. It was the summer of, the Phantom Menace and American Pie and all these like giant movies.
Right.
And then sort of slotted into August came this thing. And it was the first really like viral word of mouth box office juggernaut, maybe like the last one, honestly. I don't think there's been one since then where people have gone to see a movie just because everybody else is talking about it, which is also kind of part of it.
It was an era where that would happen more, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I don't, Julia, can you think of a movie like aside from this one where people like since 1999 where anybody has like watched it because everybody else told them to?
There must be some very horror movies where
I guess
that's the case.
It's usually horror, isn't it? Because it's like, you got to see this. It's shocking. I mean, I don't know if the first Saw movie.
That's what I was thinking was Saw, like right? But I did
think of Saw, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I still haven't seen it.
And also undeserved.
I mean, yeah, and I think in terms of, there have been films that people are told to see, but they're not necessarily twist movies. There's Barbie and Oppenheimer and Sinners.
They had a juggernaut of PR behind them. Yeah.
I don't know. Have we maybe like outlasted?
Right. Have we interneted them?
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking like logically, it's more expensive to go to the movie. It's a hard thing for people to do.
Yeah.
And like, do they just want the comfort of what they know?
Yeah, I can't think of recent films other than stuff that's on and TV series that are on streaming where everyone is talking. It happened with Baby Reindeer, and I know Richard Gadd who created Baby Reindeer, and I remember when he did the live show, which is just him on stage talking about it. And then when that came out on Netflix, I just remember everybody on it was Twitter talking about it. Like, just watch Baby Reindeer. I was like, wow, everyone's talking about Richard's show. And I think it got far higher viewership than probably Netflix and certainly Richard imagined it would.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't think of stuff at the cinema that has the same sort of effect these days.
Yeah. So there's the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Big spoiler.
Yeah. It's like, well, I think there's something to that a lot of the kind of stories that sort of buzz lends itself to are being told on streaming in the format of like miniseries. What's the one that came out? Adolescence.
Oh, yes. Talking of child actors. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of child actors, and something that gets word of mouth kind of buzz, right? Where like you didn't see Adolescence being like splashed on billboards in Times Square or Piccadilly Circus, as it were, right?
No, that was all social media. Yeah.
It was all social media, right? It was all sort of just, because it's not the sort of thing where you want to be like, go see this awesome thing. It's like, no, have your trusted friend tell you that you can endure it and you should.
Yeah,
right?
that's it. Yeah.
There's an element of that.
Adolescence, thinking about that now, because I think Haley Joel Osment was younger. The kid in Adolescence I think was 13 when he made the show, which is the age of the kid in the show.
Yep.
Haley Joel Osment, I think, was 11 when he made Sixth Sense. I know everyone lauds I've forgotten the actor's name, but I know everyone really lauds that performance in Adolescence, and rightly so. It's brilliant, and he won an Emmy. I don't think what he's doing is any tougher than what Haley Joel Osment is having to do in Sixth Sense. So I think what he does is
Yeah. And I think that there's something like, because he was like, I want to try drama, and and took a class, and then was amazing. And I do think there's an element of like, it can't be taught. I mean, so with Haley Joel Osment, it should be said that this was not his first role. He was on a sitcom for a long time. He was Forrest Gump's son.
And Forrest
right.
Gump
he'd done quite a bit. But as I said to my students as we were watching this, I'm like, you have to understand that one of the, when you're assessing child actors, they simply like don't have enough time to learn how to act as well as an adult does, because they're not old enough, and also they haven't.
And they don't have any life.
They don't have life experience, and they also just like if you are 20, you have taken more acting classes than someone who is 10.
Yeah.
So there is an element of it where there's just I mean, I hate to use the term old soul, right? Because I think that's sort of like new agey and weird, but like, yeah, that's kind of what he is, right? I mean, there's an old soulness to him where there's just a wisdom and a kind of understanding of humanity that you just like can't teach, and just is sort of innate in Haley Joel Osment, that really kind of drives those performances right around of that age, between this and like AI and the other couple movies that he did that are just like heartbreaking and really powerful. But I also love that Haley Joel Osment was like, ultimately did like a fuck you to Hollywood, and then like went and did his own thing, and then came back and now does whatever the hell he wants. And I think it's
including films with Kevin Smith.
Yes. Exactly right.
Yes, he's incredibly unspoiled, isn't he? I like that in a child actor. I think that's a testament to his parents. They've obviously done a good job.
He reminds me of Will Wheaton in that he has kind of just come back as like a nerd icon, and and doing whatever the hell he wants. But I think there was some controversy with him at some point.
Was there?
I can't remember exactly what it was. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, maybe. Do you remember this, Julia?
No, I don't remember. I kind of don't. I just kind of knew he was quit acting and was doing other things, and then he came back. Yeah. I mean, that kind of celebrity at that age has to be pretty weird. And I don't think it would be like a life I would wish upon myself, but it's great that he managed to, do what he wanted and not get sucked up into the machine. I will say they had him play the boyfriend of the girl who was sorry, I have to explain this correctly. He played the current boyfriend of a woman whose ex-boyfriend was the serial killer Ted Bundy. And
right.
Oh yes, right. Yeah. In the Zac Efron
shockingly,
movie,
infamously.
Yeah, terrible title, evil and weird, like whatever it was.
And I felt affronted on Haley Joel Osment's part, because basically the whole purpose of his character in that movie is just to like make her life a little better. So it's kind of like nobody likes him on his own merits. It's just that
he's better than that guy who kills women and has sex with their corpses.
And they just treated him like, well, he's good enough. Not a serial killer. Good enough.
That's really funny. Right.
And so I wanted more from him for him.
Right.
That.
I liked that movie, and I'm a big fan of Zac Efron. I think he's a way more interesting, quirky actor than people allow him to be, just because he was in those stupid High School Musical movies, which are actually good if you're 11.
They are quite good. I have an 11-year-old and 2 9-year-olds, and so I of course have vicariously seen them.
You've seen them a lot
times, and through osmosis, they've been on as I've been around. Yeah. I'm like, they're okay.
I think his kids' movies they're great. And I think Zac Efron's really good. I think he's got an Oscar in his future.
Oh, I think he does too. I completely agree with that. I think he's very wide range as an actor. I think he's shaken that sort of teen idol thing.
Yeah,
but
he ought to have done. He's nearly 40, isn't he? He's like my age.
Yes, he is. But I think he's still waiting for that Tom Cruise Magnolia role, right, where he really kind of where he sort of breaks out. So little update. So in 2025, his home, Haley Joel Osment, was burned down in the Altadena Eaton fire, which probably made him spiral a little bit out of control, because in April of this year, he was arrested at a ski resort in California for public intoxication and possession of a controlled substance, later confirmed to be cocaine. While under arrest, he was captured on body police cameras using slurs against Jewish people towards his arresting officer, for which he later apologized. Unlike Mel Gibson, he was released after booking to be arraigned in July. So, well,
that's really surprised me, because you just think, he's made it that far.
Yeah. So I don't know. I do remember him pretty heartfeltly apologizing for it, and obviously this is someone who has just endured a pretty horrific trauma. Anti-Semitic slurs are never okay, even if you're traumatized and on cocaine. Maybe he was just trying to do his Mel Gibson impression and thought it would be funny. I don't know.
Well, he is a good actor.
He is a good actor, and if you're really fucked up and you're like, hey, this is just like Mel Gibson, I should start doing some
maybe that's what's going on in my head. Even though I've seen him in stuff recently, and he's got a full beard, and he does, he always 35 or whatever. In my head, he's the kid from The Sixth Sense, rocking out slurs and doing a face.
You imagine him getting arrested, and he's just like Cole Sear, tiny child, being like,
he's doing the "I see dead people," but he's saying something else.
He's saying Mel Gibson things.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to talk about to both of you is the thing that keeps sticking out to me, and I think this is also one of those kind of these moments that sort of set the kind of rules of this kind of movie, is James Newton Howard's score to this movie, which James Newton Howard is one of the hardest working film composers in the business. Right. He's composed gajillions of movies, and he's done a lot of work with Shyamalan.
Right.
He did Unbreakable as well.
Okay.
And the score to this is really gorgeous, and also I think very much not what is expected of the genre. It doesn't play to the normal kind of haunted movie leitmotifs, and it doesn't use kind of the horror tricks either.
No, there's not the quiet loud.
It's right, and it's a very somber, dramatic score.
Yeah, I think it really adds to it. What I said at the beginning about how classy it all feels, I think the score brings a lot of that, because it doesn't have that score going on.
No, it's not like Rosemary's Baby. It's not like The Exorcist. There's no use of the Dies Irae in it. It doesn't use all the tricks.
Yeah,
there's no theremin happening, and I realize that I think now, though, that when I think of kind of the modern sort of haunted drama, that score is much more sort of influential to the soundscape. Like when I'm thinking about like Mike Flanagan's Haunting of Hill House and that sort of thing, like, right, like it's that feel is much more sort of consistent with what those stories sound like. And another sort of element of this movie that I think is probably more influential than we realize. And likely. So Julia or Suze, any last thoughts about this before we wrap up? Does this movie deserve its place as one of the quintessential, the elite films of 1999 and its legacy and sort of American cinema?
I feel like it probably does, to be honest, because of what parts of the zeitgeist it was, and more than a quarter of a century later, it kind of still is. Anyone under 40, anyone over 35 is going to be like, oh yeah, Sixth Sense, yeah, I see dead people. We all remember that.
Yeah, it's true, and it's still very much a GIF. That is used frequently.
I think it holds up.
Julia?
I think it definitely holds up, and it definitely deserves a place in 1999 canon because it was it had that Barbie Oppenheimer effect, really, actually. That like it was an event. It was a cultural touchstone of the year. And it's incredibly important. I do find that it holds up. I don't think anyone would make it today.
Yeah.
Because it's like a thriller, but there's no real gore in it. So I wonder.
Well, apart from Bruce Willis gets shot twice.
Well, and there's also the kid whose head's missing in the back, right? And like,
that's a really good moment, isn't it? Because it's like, oh fuck, and I had forgotten about that moment when I rewatched it, and I was like,
me too. I always forget the jump scares. I always forget the jump scares in this movie.
Yeah. So it definitely belongs in kind of a time capsule of 99 movies. I don't know if I would personally put it in my top 10. I don't think I would.
I don't think I would either. Yeah.
It just it lacks some kind of something. So when you compare it to something like, I don't know, I was just thinking about this yesterday, The Limey, in terms of its construction. Like I think I think Shyamalan really has his view of the world. Like he has a universe in which his characters inhabit and what it looks like, and it's often a very beautiful movie to watch. It's just being a thriller, but I don't find the craft of it to be as sophisticated as a lot of other movies, or at least 10 other movies of 99. It just doesn't all gel together for me for some reason. I don't know. There could be less camera movement also. Like he's clearly in love with camera movement, which I also love a lot of the time, but it's sort of like when it's everywhere, it kind of like wears you down in terms of watching and orienting yourself in space. So for too much moving camera, it does not make my personal top 10. But
the crime of too much moving camera.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely is a good movie, and it's definitely important to the history of 99 movies.
Yeah, I the moving camera thing is so funny. I do love the scene where he goes handheld with Toni Collette, and then she goes to get the laundry and comes back, and all the drawers are open and all that sort of thing. It's a great moment.
Oh yeah,
It's that's it though. Is like sometimes with Shyamalan, like he is so good at these like little set pieces. He's really good at the jump scares. He's like that moment in Signs is the one moment that I remember. Right, the one you were talking about with the alien is like the only thing about that movie that I'm like sticks out to me for the same reason. The jump scares in this are all really good, and I always forget about them. And like so, whenever I watch the movie again, like when he sees the people hanging in the hallway, right, like it's all great. But sometimes, like it doesn't ever I think with every Shyamalan movie, like part of the charm of them is they're always not quite perfect, even the really good ones. And it's sometimes because it's never quite the sum of the parts, I think. Right. And that's just kind of, but it's also kind of what makes him so charming. It's a kind of, there's something very like homemade about his movies, that they are not all completely polished and great all the time. I will say though, like, I love the whole cough syrup kid thing. I think that's hilarious. What a great little like moment of levity in the movie when you see the cough syrup commercial. And it just looks so much like a 1990s medicine commercial, and like where because he's talking about his acting and like, you know, getting into character.
And isn't it just him like, my throat hurts?
And that scene where you like see him playing outside and he like smiles at the camera, and it's, oh man, like what a weird thing to include in the movie, but it's
I thought that was maybe a commentary on other child actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on some of the kids who
probably
just to show you the difference.
And it's there's like a little meta commentary there, and it's such a funny gag, and I'd love to know what the thinking is behind it. But what if it was like, you dicks, look at what a good act.
It's good, isn't it, as well, because it's like Haley Joel Osment's character is like weird and dweeby, and not just because he sees ghosts. And his bully is like this stupid fanny actor who's like child actor. Who's like, I'm kind of famous. It's very funny.
Speaking of child actors, well, in our next episode, we'll be talking more about Nicholas Hoult, Julia, and Toni Collette again. But I'm always think it's very funny that in History's only movie about a boy, 2002, that Nicholas Hoult's voiceover in the beginning is talking about how like his mom's poor. And he's like, if I was like that acting kid, Haley Joel Osment, then I could be a movie star, but I was crap at drama. And I was like, hey, have you ever noticed how your mom is the same mom from the movie that you're, you know, from that.
But she's a shapeshifter. Such a shapeshifter. You can
Don't you think?
tell.
I assume you've seen The Sixth Sense if you know who Haley Joel Osment is. Have you noticed how his mom is the same as yours?
Like, wow, I don't recognize her from one role to the next.
Also, one of the strangest things that's ever happened in the history of the human race is like Nicholas Hoult becoming hot. I don't like. Who could watch that movie and be like, that kid's going to be a fucking smoke show?
This
you know?
silly, goony 11-year-old. Grew up to be a supermodel.
Lex Luthor.
Another unspoiled child actor.
Let's have
more of them.
He just, that's, what a good dude. I hope we never get any skeletons in that. I don't think we will.
He's too
doofy. He's too doofy.
Holtman.
Yeah.
Child actors who've turned out all right.
Yeah, there are some. And then eventually, like, Drew Barrymore, but it took a while.
Yes.
There was a lot of not all right in the scene. But that was when
it wasn't she literally like doing coke at Studio 54 and she's like 9 years old or something?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. I think all of the words that you said are literally true.
It's all true.
Okay, cool. Well, go watch The Sixth Sense for Halloween. And it's a good little Halloween movie. Eerie, still beautiful, even if you know the ending. It's worth revisiting if you have not revisited it in some time. So, Julia, would you like to close out and ask Sooz our two final questions?
Yes, of course. Sooz, do you have a favorite movie from 1999?
And if you don't know, Sooz, if you need the list, I just put it in the chat. So
Thank you. Do you know what? The first thing that comes to mind is Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Hell yeah. Okay, good. Mm-hmm.
That's the first film that comes to mind. So I'm just going to say that, even if I then looked at the list.
No, that's a great answer. That is a favorite. Yeah. That is a favorite of this show's. So
good.
Yeah, we are very, very much pro Drop Dead Gorgeous here on this show. A movie that was completely misunderstood by critics and like.
Right.
And wrongly.
And talking of Kirsten Dunst, that and The Virgin Suicides, which I recently saw. Mm-hmm. That's 99, isn't it?
It sure is.
I saw that in an independent cinema in Toronto at the end of September, which is because my boyfriend lives there, and they were like, "We're doing a 25th anniversary reshowing of Virgin Suicides because it was shot in Toronto." And watching that for the first time in a very long time was magical.
Yeah.
That really holds up.
Yep. Another one we still have not yet covered on the show, but we will.
Right.
We will in the near future-ish.
Mm.
Okay, question number 2.
Do you have a favorite movie of all time?
Yes, I do. It's Goodfellas. It's been my favorite film since I was about 15. and obviously when I was 15, because the best films and music and video games you ever play are when you're 15.
Yeah.
So Goodfellas, which I saw at 15, and it's held the top spot for 25 years.
Wow. Pretty solid choice, I have to say. So in the battle between Goodfellas versus The Godfather, you are on Team Goodfellas, I would imagine.
Yeah, I feel like both have their very strong merits, and there's a good argument for either of them. But I feel like Goodfellas seems to get better with age, because the more part of the discourse is like, God, why are men like this? Goodfellas was kind of asking that 35 years ago, going like, look at them, look at the way they're carrying on. Someone's going to get hurt. So I feel like Scorsese in general, that's kind of his theme, like the king of comedy, which is over 40 years old, is exactly as the more we get into influencers and comedians constantly, like if Rupert Pupkin was around now, he'd be putting out clips of appalling crowd work on Instagram. And
well, that's why they remade that movie as the Joker.
Oh my God, I can't believe that film got away with it. I can't believe, what's his name, Todd?
Oh God,
what's his
Todd something?
I can't remember his name. He's annoying. Where he went, hey guys, no Taxi Driver, no King of Comedy. Well, forget what you think you know about them. I've made both in one film, and it's crap, and it's annoying. And the night that me and my mate Chris live streamed the Oscars at the beginning of 2020, I guess, which is when that every time the Joker came up, I was just like, just so annoyed. It annoys me. I really hated the film.
Yeah, it's bad.
I could talk about how much I hate the film for ages. That and The Greatest Showman. Relish how much I hate.
Well, you might get canceled by some listeners for Greatest Showman slander. I am neutral on The Greatest Showman, but I'm with you on the Joker with
fucking Joker, to the point where I like the second one, because I'm like, fans of the first film are going to hate this.
That's how I feel about the third Christopher Nolan Batman movie. Which is
really?
Because I think Dark Knight's great and fine and whatever else, but come on, just get over it. But then everybody hates the third one. I'm like, this is awesome because it's stupid, and it should be. So
fucking Batman, stop trying to make it serious and important.
Oh God, yeah. Dudes would rather love the Joker than go to therapy, or whatever. Quickly, do you know what Sonic the Hedgehog game came out in 1999? This is very obscure.
99.
I had to look at this. I had to look this up. I bet you don't know. There's only one.
It'll be on the Saturn.
You're close. You're in the right.
Or is it Dreamcast?
It's not, actually. It's an even more obscure system.
What a fucking Neptune. 99 Sonic game, or is it a PC game? Is it like Sonic Schoolhouse or something?
Nope.
What? Oh no! I need to know which one.
Sonic
is
the
it?
Hedgehog Pocket Adventure for Neo Geo Pocket Color.
God! Oh man! Everyone who bought that game should have. They should have got compensation to an alarming degree. Okay.
Yeah. Before we go, Sooz, what's new with you? What can people look at and find and all that sort of thing on the internet? And,
if you're ever in the UK and you want to see me live, Sooz Kempner.co.uk/gigs. All my gigs. I'm all around the country. I'm doing a tour next year of my show. Sooz Kempner is ugly. And if you like hearing me talk, imagine that with two other comedians solving true crime mysteries while drinking cocktails. Mystery on the Rocks. There's hundreds of episodes. We can't stop recording this podcast for literally tens of listeners, so become one of them.
It's okay, we know the feeling. Yeah. I mean, most podcasts have tens of listeners, but they're awfully enthusiastic, and they're
loyal.
That's why we do it. And when else would we have a social life if we didn't just
exactly? Yeah, I can't afford to have one.
And start talking to other sad adults who are too busy doing other things.
It's true.
That's why the podcast exists.
Yeah.
As always, you can find us on Blue Sky at 1999 the podcast, and you can find me at John Brooks, and you can find Julia at Julia Sermons. That's Sermons with an I, not an E. And you can find the show and other shows at Cage Club. You can email us at 1999@cageclub.me. And thank you so much, Sooz.
Thank you.
Kempner with an N. Get it right.
Kempner with an N. Not like Ed Kemper, the guy who cut off his nan's head and had sex with it.
Not like Ellie Kemper, but Kempner. Come back sometime. Let's do another.
Cheers. Thank you very much. I'd love to.
Great to have you. Happy Halloween, everybody, and we will see y'all in